You're listening to the Brown Sign Project podcast.
Introducing Meridian Experience from Retail Integration, the leading multi-channel ticketing, retail and membership system for visitor attractions. Working with visitor attractions for over 25 years, Retail Integration have developed the ultimate solution that enables some of Ireland's leading visitor attractions manage every aspect of their business, from ticketing and admissions to merchandising, food and loyalty programs in one single system. Customer experience is at the heart of what we do. Contact us today and let Retail Integration help you to exceed visitor expectations. We listen, we develop, we deliver.
Hello and welcome to the Brown Sign Project, the podcast that talks to some influential and engaging voices in the tourist attractions industry. I'm Carlton Gadgeton.
And I'm Carly Strawn. In this episode, we're delighted to bring you a conversation with Phil Royle, who is Global Experiences and Standards Divisional Director of LEGOLAND.
As well as telling us what that role entails, Phil takes us through his career within Merlin Entertainments and discuss a bit about the variety of jobs within the tourist attractions industry and what it has to offer. As well, we find out how Phil sees the future of combining the digital and physical world.
We're also talking about how working in escapism and leisure can sometimes be a little bit strange when you need time outside of work, and it's really important to discover some interests and hobbies outside of your role. And thanks, as ever, to our series sponsors, Staff Savvy and Retail Integration. Now on to our conversation with Phil.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. No matter where you are, welcome to the show. We are so excited to have another speaker for us. But before we get to our speaker, Carly, how are you today?
I'm very good. I am very good. I like being in the time zone middle, being in the time zone sandwich. It's good. It's where I belong.
That's good, because I know you've been traveling quite a bit for the past couple of weeks, so you must be so glad to be home.
I am always.
That's good. That's good. So yes, let's start this show. We've got an amazing person who's had 22 years experience working in the industry. And let me just introduce you to Phil. Hello, Phil. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome.
We're good. Phil, can you just give us a quick introduction about you, what you do in the world of tourist attractions?
Absolutely. I'm the Divisional Director of Global Experiences and Standards for the LEGOLAND Parks and Resorts, one of the Merlin Entertainments Group companies. So Merlin Entertainments, second largest visitor attraction company in the world. So very excited to be able to do the job that I do for them.
That's awesome. So we've got something in common, as we've discussed, that we've all worked at Merlin before. So it was quite nice to kind of discuss our experiences together.
I love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I'll hand it over to Carly. Carly, do you want to start with the first question?
Yeah, I can. So, Phil, you spent 22 years in the same company, which is quite an achievement, I have to say. What did you do? Do you have any qualifications in tourism? Is that what you thought you would do when you were growing up? What did you study, and kind of how did you get to starting those 22 years? What did that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. No, the answer to your question, no, I don't. I actually studied IT. I thought I was going to go into the exciting world of IT, and I started a summer job at Chessington World of Adventures in the United Kingdom, and I worked there for about 5 years within operations. It was quite close to my family home, and at one point during that time, I became kind of what we call permanent. And then there was a job at the London Eye, which is our observation wheel in London. And I applied for that job. And just after I got that job, my grandparents actually said to me, "Oh, we're actually really proud of you. We didn't think you'd stay within this industry, and now you've got a real job." And I kind of sat there and thought, "Oh, was my job before not real?" But it was quite an interesting kind of interaction that I had with my grandparents who didn't see the industry as a real job in a way, which was kind of shocking to me, but I kind of understood. So yeah, then I went to the London Eye, and I worked within ride operations at the London Eye, and I was there for about 4 years. While I was there, I worked with some of our other attractions in London. It's actually at the London Eye where I met my now wife, so it's pretty cool. So she's also been an employee of Merlin Entertainments Group as well. And then after about 4 years, I applied for a job. I applied for two jobs. One was in Weymouth, at one of our aquariums in Weymouth in the United Kingdom. And then another was at a location that I'd never been to before, didn't really know where it was. And that was Hollywood, California, for Madame Tussauds Hollywood. And I applied for both jobs. And I got the Hollywood job, which was kind of crazy. So I then moved out to the United States in 2009. And I've been here ever since. So I've lived in California, I've lived in Texas, I've lived in Florida, I've lived in New York State, and I've opened various attractions for Merlin during that time within the Madame Tussauds brand, the Sea Life brand, LEGOLAND Discovery Centers, and then our LEGOLAND parks. So kind of that fast forward a little bit to kind of when I moved to LEGOLAND Florida, I was there looking after our guest experience and our product development. And I was there for about 4 years. And one day I was asked, "Hey, we're building a park in New York. We need someone to go to New York and kind of head up the operation and kind of kick it off as a project. Would you like to do that?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to do that." And then they said, "Well, you've kind of got until tomorrow morning to give us a yes." So I had a very short amount of time to make that decision. And then moved to lovely New York State. Actually, it's where I am now, recording this podcast. I'm actually visiting our LEGOLAND park here in New York at the moment. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I got to up until about 2016. And from 2016 onwards, it was working on the project and getting our project approved via the local government. We got that approved about 18 months later. And then we got it under construction, a 550-acre, $500 million theme park, 65 miles northwest of Manhattan, third LEGOLAND park in North America, joining LEGOLAND California, LEGOLAND Florida. And it was a fantastic project. It really, really was. I was then asked towards the end of 2019, just before we were supposed to open in 2020, to move over to Korea to head up our construction and our operational development for our park in Korea. So my wife and I, we moved to Korea, and we got there kind of middle of January 2020, just before the world really started to shut down. At that point, we then decided we were going to open LEGOLAND New York in 2021 because of what was happening in the world. And so we lived in Korea for about 3.5 years. We opened LEGOLAND Korea, our 10th LEGOLAND park, just last year in 2022. And then at the end of 2022, I moved back to the United States. My home is about 7 minutes away from LEGOLAND Florida Resort. And then I started a new job in January, which is looking after all of our global experiences and standards across the 10 parks. And that's where we are today.
Wow. What a flight.
Sorry, I'll take a breath.
Yeah, you sit down and take a breath for a second. That's incredible. I mean, when we talk to people about, I love what you said about, your grandparents saying, "Oh, you've got a real job now." Because I mean, that is a running joke on this podcast, but also in lives in general. Is, I always say to people, I joined Madame Tussauds in 2007, I think.
Awesome.
With the idea that I'd go for 3 months and then I'd get a real job,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm still waiting for that real job to materialize. I'm not sure at what point you get that. When you then say to people, but this job can take you around the world. This job can, you'll meet your future partner there and you'll do all this amazing stuff. And I think that's a real testament to how unique our industry is and how interesting and all of the roles that are possible there. So yeah.
But even like life-changing experience, you getting married, working different in environments that you would not normally do. It's literally life-changing for some people. So that's kind of why absolutely. I love it. I love working in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife was at one point a singer at the Alton Towers Hotel, and then she worked in hospitality at the London Eye. And she's still within the kind of the wedding planning and kind of lifestyle industry. But yeah, we met within this industry, and people they do meet their partners and they do meet their best friends. And my best friends today are still within the industry, or if they've moved away from the industry, they've been in it a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Same for me. I'm still in contact with my first ever team back
That's
in the
amazing.
day. Yeah, it's really awesome. So I'm going to ask you a really hard question.
Okay.
Next, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
What is the best thing about your job? Because you've done so much and it sounds amazing, but what is the best thing?
To be honest, the best thing about my job has always kind of stayed pretty consistent. The way I look at it when I talk about why I enjoy working in our industry, people pay really good money, a lot of money, to come visit our attractions, and they maybe they come once a year, maybe they come twice a year. I get paid to have the same amount of fun as them, right? So, yesterday I was walking around our Legoland New York Resort Park. I get to go on some rides. I get to look at things. We're launching a fabulous new water play area here today in New York, and so I see that people come and have fun and explore our theme parks and our business, and I get paid to do that as part of my day-to-day job, and to meet the people that I meet, and so that's what I love about it.
And did I just hear you say you're launching something new today? You are.
Yeah, brand new today. So it is, it is 10 o'clock, 25 past 10. In about 40 minutes, our team here are launching a brand new water playground here at Legoland New York Resort. So, bringing splash and water play to our New York park in upstate New York. It's something that people are very excited for. They had an annual pass holders event just yesterday, and I got to see people running around and kids running around, and our staff getting soaked for the first time. So yes, it's launching and opening to our guests in about 40 minutes time.
That's amazing. I think there is nothing like an opening day. I think I say this to people
Absolutely.
all the time. That's what keeps us in the industry, right?
It does, and there's so many functions and so many people that go into that. Just yesterday, I'm stood there talking with our health and safety director about various floor finishes that we've tried and tested on on various water play structures. And so yes, you can stand there and you can have a really exciting conversation about floor finishes, or you can be talking to the retail team about what kind of swimming costumes and towels we sell. There's a lot of people that go into the operation, but then there's also a lot of people that have been working on this project for the last year and a half, 2 years to construct it and to get it approved. And and the team here have worked really, really hard during quite challenging times within the industry of getting supplies and resources to make this happen.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, you've given us so many reasons already, but if you were to distill kind of the experience that you've had over the past 22 years of your career, is what do you think is the reasons that people should join the sector? So if they're thinking, as I was once upon a time, do I go and become a recruitment consultant, or do I go and work in the shop at Madame Tussaud's?
Yeah.
What is it you think that sort of gives us the edge?
Again, it goes back to what I was just saying about why I enjoy working in the industry. You get to be part of someone's fantastic day, right? Their special memory, their birthday gift to their child, their family reunion. You get to help be part of that. And in a world where we've all gone through the last couple of years with COVID, everybody wants that fantastical escapism now. Everyone wants to escape. They want to escape the real world. They don't want to be worried about what may be going on in their life. They want to just escape, have fun with their family, have fun with their children. And we get to be a part of that. And the tourism and the leisure industry is so vast. People probably don't realize that many jobs form part of that. And To me, it all starts at your airport, right? Those people working in the airport are part of our industry. They are getting us on our way, and the people at the hotel and the people at the car rental and the people at the attraction. They are all part of our industry and making sure that we can escape the real world and have some fun.
Yeah, that's really nice. I think when we think about the industry, it's really easy to jump to the jobs that you see all the time. So
Absolutely.
you think,
Yeah.
oh, I've probably told this story on the podcast before, but when I used to work in recruitment for the industry, for the theme parks especially, people would come to those events and say, I'm too qualified to work there. Hang on, who do you who do you think is doing the finances and the safety check?
Absolutely.
That this isn't a job of unskilled labor. This is an industry of extremely skilled individuals in whatever skills it is that they bring to it. So yeah, I think it's a great industry.
Absolutely. We have a vast team of engineers and creative designers and people who help us design our projects, to then, as you said, amazing finance people who are far better than I am at counting money. That's not one of my favorite tasks in the world. It's my favorite task is spending money, not counting it. To the amazing marketeers that we have who help us bring our product to be seen on the world stage. And there is so many roles within this industry that aren't seen. We're the largest aquarium operator in the world with over 47 aquariums around the world. And there's a whole team of people back of house who are looking after the animals. And you might not necessarily see them, but they're there to ensure that our animals are cared for. We've got Chessington World Adventures in the UK, which is, our fantastic animal themed theme park. There's a whole load of people there who are looking after lions and tigers and birds and snakes and other reptiles that you might not see day to day, but there's some amazing jobs within our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that and kind of opening everyone's eyes into it, because I think a lot of people don't realize the vast amount of varied jobs in our industry and what people can do.
Do you spend hours creating your rotas and then spend days constantly adjusting them? We have the solution. At Staff Savvy, we specialise in shift schedules and timesheet solutions for visitor attractions. Easily manage multiple complex teams of permanent, casual, freelance and volunteer staff across different locations and disciplines. With fast communication features, automatic compliance tools, training management and simple timesheet tools, Staff Savvy has been used and trusted by organisations such as V&A Dundee, the South Bank Centre and the Royal Albert Hall, with great cost-saving benefits. Visit us at staffsavvy.com/brown sign project to learn more and schedule a demo of our magic rota button.
You're listening to the Brown Sign Project podcast.
I want to kind of touch up on something that I think you've had a lot of experience with, and that is change, especially change in our industry from COVID to kind of the financial recession, all that kind of stuff. So with your experience, how will your job change or evolve in the next 5 to 10 years? And there's a second part to this question, if that's okay. So let's just start with 5 to 10 years. What do you think it's going to look like?
Look, I think the world is changing rapidly. I think obviously we're all talking about digital experiences. We're actually talking about phygital within our world, so that's the physical digital world, and ensuring that we don't just throw something digital at a business just for the sake of it. It has to be meaningful. It has to be interactive. It has to work, right? A lot of our digital experiences in the world don't always work as perfectly as they should. But I personally believe at some point as well, we need to remember we can't just add everything to be digital, right? Sometimes, and the best bit about my job working within the Legoland parks is that it comes down to a simple brick, right? And that doesn't have to be digital. And you can give a child an iPad, you can give them a video games console, but at some point as well, if you put a pile of bricks in front of them, maybe there's an instruction manual, maybe there's not. they're going to have fun with that. And I think that's what we need to remember over the next 5 to 10 years, that yes, digital as long as it enhances the experience, fantastic. But at the same time, people want the ability to enjoy some simple pleasures that maybe you don't have to turn an iPad or a TV on to enjoy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this brings me to the next part, which is all about technology. So I want to kind of talk about you specifically. How do you think a job will change? Like, for example, let's take duty manager. You've had experience in that. How do you think technology is going to evolve and change the way we do our jobs more efficiently? Or is it going to do that? Do we just need our kind of common knowledge or common sense to do these kind of jobs?
I think that's a great example. The role of a duty manager in any kind of business, or a manager on duty, whatever it's called, it's always been about checking and ensuring that we're up to our standards. I think there's some great digital layers that we've added in over the years, digital checklists, QR codes around the business that open up digital checklists, duty managers walking around with iPads doing spot checks. I think that's fantastic. But the reality is we still need to walk into that bathroom and ensure that restroom, that toilet block, ensure that toilet block is clean and, sanitized. We still need to walk up to our team members and make sure that they're having a good day. And no amount of technology or checklist can do that for us. So I like to think that the technology we use and that we will implement within our business will free up our management teams to look after people, be it our staff or be it our guests, better than them being stuck in an office completing a boring checklist. So I hope that technology so far has enabled us to free up our team, and I hope that it will continue to do so.
What's your thoughts about AI? Because that's a buzzword at the moment. Do you think AI is going to help the staff on the ground to perform better and to get more information or kind of interpret data better than what they've done in the past?
Yeah, look, we're delivering. Part of my team looks after continuous improvement, which is all of our various technologies, and we're looking at how AI can improve certain reporting of dashboards. And I think AI can support us in how information is delivered, but you still need someone to interpret it and still need someone to adapt to what that AI report delivers. AI can obviously interact with guests, but it's going to do simple tasks. But the reality is a guest can always tell whether they're talking to a computer or not. Any kind of chatbot online, you can always tell whether it's just a chatbot. So I think, again, as with technology, I think it's going to support us, but I still think there is a need for that person to interpret it and to deliver the results of that report or whatever it may well be.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point, actually, is, when we talk to people about, most of my career now is focused on tech in tourism. And I think when we talk to people that, people are worried about losing jobs to AI and so on. And that's a real genuine fear. I think that, and right to be feared, but we shouldn't be getting it to do the stuff that humans are really great at.
Exactly. I once found out that one of our businesses was using AI solely for the first couple of interviews for any frontline member of staff, and I was genuinely quite saddened by that. And in the end, it didn't work as well as it really should have done. And to me, it's about that interaction that we have with people. And you can answer a few simple questions on AI, but really, when you get down to it, you want to talk to a person.
Yeah, definitely. You've led me actually fantastically, because we've just talked recruitment and sort of, assessment centers and that kind of thing. But what do you think in terms of, if someone's thinking today, okay, this sounds like the role for me, I want to get involved. What do you think would be your top 3 tips for actually working in the industry? Do you think there's specific skill sets that are useful, or I don't know, just anything that you've kind of seen over your years to think, actually, this is really great for somebody who's going to get into this industry?
Definitely. Look, I think the thing to remember with our industry is that most people are, brand new into the industry. They're coming and they've never done any of the jobs before that we need them to do, right? But we can teach you how to work in a restaurant. We can teach you how to operate a roller coaster. We can teach you how to maintain a roller coaster or a ride or attraction. We just need people who can be engaging, who are trustworthy, who are reliable, who can show up on time, who want to engage with people. We can teach you everything else. And, those are the things that I like to remind people of. If people are nervous about our industry, that's what we're here for. We teach people what to do. And to me, if someone has got those softer skills, the interaction, the smiles, and they want to show up to work and they want to engage with people, we'll teach you everything else you need to know. So top three, as it were, it's being trustworthy, being reliable, making sure that people are showing up to work on time, and then just being engaging. We want people to engage with our customers, and we want people to engage with our staff as well. Your whole day, you're surrounded by your fellow colleagues, and we want you to have fun, right? If you're not having fun with them, you're probably not going to have fun with our guests and our customers at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hiring for personality is really key, I would say. As you rightly said, we can always teach you the skills of that actual job, but we can't teach personality. So yeah, it's just really finding the right people for the right jobs at the right time, which is really, really important.
I think
on this.
It's really hard as well. Like you said, Phil, that it's really difficult to pretend you're having a good time. It's actually very, very obvious to a guest if you're not having a good day. And, as much as we can say to people, leave your worries at the door and once you're out and, front of house and off you go, that's actually much easier in theory than it is in practice. We all have bad days, etc. But I think if you come at most days, as I'm a pretty positive person, that what brings out the best in me is interacting with people. What brings out the best in me is, the kind of qualities of, giving good service and seeing other people have a good time. Actually, that reflects, and then that sort of grows because people see you having a good time and it improves their mood and so on. I do think that's it's absolutely really underestimated. I think.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I think sometimes if people are nervous about joining our industry or looking at our industry, it's really not that difficult, right? It's really not that hard to come and enjoy yourself. And, you're either outside or you're in a lovely attraction that's world class, and our guests are coming to visit you. And, we get to work in some amazing, incredible places within the industry, and you get to pick that, depending on what part of the industry you want to go into. And you've just got to have some fun. And if you can have fun, then our guests will have fun.
And what's really cool as well, working in our industry, because managers are hiring for personality, the teams are full of fire. They got so much life and energy. You literally got friends for life, and no matter how long you stayed in that role, it's really, really, really kind of amazing to experience. And I know all three of us have experienced that of kind of having friends for life in that kind of environment.
Yeah, absolutely. My best friend, I met him in 2002. He was the best man at my wedding. He's now gone off. He's left the kind of the direct visitor attraction industry that we've been in for the longest time. But then he followed his passion to become a pilot, and he'll be taking off in his first plane within the next month or so. So although not a visitor attraction, he's now gone off in that industry to take people to those visitor attractions. And many of my best friends are still within the industry, and I can't speak more highly of that than my personal experience.
Absolutely. So we're going to kind of wind it down now. It's our last question we're going to ask you, and I want to kind of talk about your hobbies and your interests and how they have helped you motivate and energize your career. So what sort of hobbies are you doing to energize yourself and motivate yourself?
Absolutely. I love road biking. So that's pedal biking, not a motorbike. That's far too scary for me. I love road biking. I have a kayak. I love going out on the water. I'm very blessed with the area that we live in. It's full of lakes and rivers, and actually our Legoland Florida Park that I live close to actually sits on a lake. It's called the Chain of Lake City, where we are. But actually, one of my hobbies, and my friends and family will laugh at it, is I actually really like DIY. I can't say that I'm amazing at it, but I visit what's called Home Depot in America, would be B&Q in the UK,
Yeah.
and I honestly I absolutely love it, and I joke with my wife if I'm going there on a Saturday morning, but I'm going in to motivate the team and go chat with them at their morning briefing. And, clearly I'm not, because I don't work for Home Depot, but that gives me my release in my world to go off and enjoy. And I'm just building and fixing things, probably don't really need to be built or need to be fixed, but it's what I enjoy in my personal time.
Oh, that's got to be a great fit for Lego, though. Surely, just like
Yeah,
hands
you know what?
on.
I'm only allowed Lego in my office at home, so I've got a home office, and my wife tells me that I have to keep all of my Lego and my Lego work things within my office. They can't keep spilling out into the rest of the house.
Yeah. I imagine. I mean, I have a fair bit of Lego at home. Same, like for me, relaxation is hands. I have to be doing stuff, like
Yes,
building things and fiddling with things and seeing how they fit together and work. But yeah, I think when you've worked for Lego, it gets real difficult not to buy every set that comes out.
absolutely. Well, luckily for us, we have Lego on all of our meeting room tables, so you can sit there talking about whatever it may well be, but everyone will just sit there and just start building random things. And luckily, we don't build many swords and shields and start jousting in a conference room, but we could do if we wanted to. And that's a lot of fun. And a lot of our meetings we can then take outside. And most of my time here while I'm in Legoland New York is actually walking the park with people. I don't need to sit in a conference room to find out what's going on. I want to walk around the park, and I want to, see the things that we're delivering to our guests firsthand.
What's really interesting what you're saying, for me, is kind of how you're using mental health and well-being to kind of balance your job, because I can imagine your day-to-day job could be very, very intense, especially opening an attraction. But having these hobbies and experience outside is kind of balancing yourself.
Absolutely. When we first moved to Korea, Korean mentality is that you work until 6 p.m. But I was very much used to going home at 5:30 if we're not opening. And I would tell the team, I said, team, we're not opening this park for another 3 years. I don't need you to do 8 to 10 to 12-hour days right now. I need you to just enjoy your life and get ready, because when we get ready to open, we're then going to need you doing 10 or 12-hour days around the opening. And it's about that balance. And to me, it's about taking that time, when you can. I'm very much about that. I travel a lot for work. But when I'm home, then I want to make sure that I enjoy myself and I relax. Otherwise, when I go back to work, I'm going to be a really grumpy person that I don't even want to be around. So everyone needs to make sure that they're taking that time to rest and to sleep and to just enjoy their family time or whatever it may well be, so they can be the best person at work that they can.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have just one more question, and then I promise
Absolutely,
because I feel like we could talk for ages. But you said there about there being a distinction sort of between Korea and the US, and I wondered if you really do see. I've done some work in the Far East. Carlton's obviously in the Middle East at the moment. You're in the US. What kind of differences do you see that you've worked as you go? Obviously the working hours one being one, but do you think there's a mentality difference in the industry about how the industry is viewed? Because I think that's really interesting.
Absolutely. Look, we've got 10 Legoland parks in various parts of the world. We've got 3 under construction in China. how people go about their work is very, very different. Our team in China, they're always telling me about China speed and how fast we have to move. And, the US is more about kind of enjoying, we've got a public holiday coming up here on Monday. And so the team are really gearing up for that, for a busy weekend. So I think in general, everyone still goes to work, but everyone does approach things slightly differently. Some of our cultures that we operate in are a lot more humble than others. Us Brits, we like to shout about things and what we're doing, but some of our European locations, they're a lot more humble, and they don't necessarily get to share those ideas. It could also be language. And my job is to take those examples and share them around the world. And certainly when it comes to language and a translation of language, that sometimes makes people think that they can't share their ideas because they can't necessarily communicate it as well. And it's for us as a business to kind of help those people and encourage those people to bring those ideas to life and try and forget about those language barriers or whatever other cultural barriers there may be.
Yeah, I used to work for an American-based company. I worked in the UK office, but for a US company, and I always remember that the differences in meetings. We would have customer meetings out in the US where it was whooping and hollering, and everybody
absolutely
wanted to talk, and everybody wants to be involved. And then we'd bring the same meeting to the UK with the UK clients, and it would be like tumbleweed. No one would want to speak first. Nobody would want to. I think the differences are really fascinating, and I think for anybody who gets to work in different areas around the world, sometimes it's a shock, because you do think we're pretty standard as far as work goes. So that's
we're really not. We're anything but standard sometimes, and that's a good thing as well.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly, like you said, that we can learn from each other. People do things in different ways, and especially with Legolands, where you're effectively very similar footprints, around the world, is actually what can we learn from opening in different markets, and what can we learn from maybe what we've done before but maybe didn't work. And I do think it's really fascinating.
No, definitely so.
Well, thank you, Phil. It has been a real pleasure. Before we end, is there anything you desperately want to tell us about? And it could have been your new opening, so sorry we kind of blew that surprise, but
No, absolutely. Look, I think we're going through an element of change. We've got a brand new CEO. He joined us last year. He comes from the sports entertainment world. I think we've got some really exciting things that are starting to happen within our industry, within our company. All of the parks are kind of now opening up. We've got new attractions opening. We've just opened the world's first Jumanji ride and area at Chessington World of Adventures. It's very, very exciting for us. So we've got a lot of new things that we're opening up in our world, but I'm looking forward to that. And I think anyone who gets to visit our attractions will have a great 2023 and beyond, because we're looking to do some great things. And in general, the industry is looking to do some great things as well.
Fantastic. Cool. So if our listeners would like to find you somewhere, Phil, where would they find you if they want to learn more about you and about your life, or maybe reach out to you or see what you're up to?
Yeah, look, they can find me in any one of our 10 Legoland parks around the world. That's, I get to visit all of the attractions twice a year. But probably the best way would be on LinkedIn to add me or to follow me on. I haven't quite got to that point yet where I've removed the add me button and it's just a follow button. Maybe in the future as I grow a fan base.
Maybe at the end of this podcast going out, you'll have so many fans who are really interested in what you're doing.
Absolutely, and I might have to upgrade to LinkedIn Premium or something. But I think LinkedIn would be the best way to kind of see what we're doing. And part of my job as well is to help tell those stories of things that we're doing within our business. And so if you're wanting to see what we're doing within our business, it would be a great area to follow me on.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you both for asking me.
Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely welcome. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to the Brand Sign Project. In our next episode, we're going to talk to the founder of JK Consulting, Jennifer Kennedy.
Thanks again to our season sponsors, Staff Savvy and Retail Integration. The Brown Sign Project was edited by Paul Tyler, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Brown Sign Pod, and you can find us on LinkedIn.